Last year, the race was really painful. A lot of us are using the hashtag pain in paradise.
When you tell people you're racing 3 days of triathlon, they say, one isn't enough.
Everyone's competing for a lot of money. Everyone's gonna dig super deep.
The race of the year is back. 40 of the world's best triathletes from various racing backgrounds in an unconventional format for one of the biggest purses in the sport.
Kiss the guns, baby.
It's good to be back in the Bahamas for the second year for the Island House Invitational Triathlon. Thank you everyone who has made the effort to come. We've accumulated 40 of the world's top athletes over all sorts of formats of triathlon, and they're all here to race on a 3-day stage race event.
Last year was just such a great experience. All I remember is it was really hard, really painful, but a lot of fun.
It's something different, it's something out of our wheelhouse, so you have to know what you're getting into and be prepared to suffer in a different way.
My idea was to do something different and to bring athletes from all formats of triathlon together that don't usually race each other.
It's kind of cool to meet some of them that you watch on TV and you're like, oh wow, I really want to meet that person one day. And then when they get an invite, it's just like, yes.
I genuinely think there are more world Olympians across the whole range of triathlon distances in one place. I want to be the best. And if the best are here, let's do it. Let's race them. Let's see where we can go.
And since they're competing for an impressive $500,000 of prize money, the stakes are high for this unconventional race.
We'll be starting on Friday with the individual time trial portion of the event, so these are just pure swimming, biking and running races. Day 2, we're going to have an enduro format like last year. And on the last day, the leader of the first 2 stages, they go off on go and everyone's in pursuit of the leader.
In spite of the anticipation for the event, Mother Nature sometimes has her own plans. And this year, they were uncertain if the race would happen at all.
3 weeks ago, the island here suffered the worst hurricane in 92 years.
It was Category 4 and 125-mile-an-hour winds. There's a lot of roads that are still underwater. There's a lot of people that still, weeks later, don't have electricity.
It put us in a situation, do we run the race or do we not? And we really felt that to get the island back on its feet, it was important to bring awareness to what happened here and to help.
Thanks to the race's sponsors and charities, the island got a boost it so sorely needed, all while the athletes create a buzz of excitement.
For us to bring a little joy to the community, hopefully we can help them get the island a little bit restored and back to where they want it to be.
Day 1, Friday, today, the 28th day of October.
Here we go, we are underway. Ellie Salthouse leading the elite women.
Only the top 10 from Friday and Saturday will compete on Sunday for the prize money. So there is added pressure to perform as each athlete knows how skilled the competition is.
The hands-down favorites are Flora Duffy. She's coming off a double world championship. She just won her 3rd Xterra championship. Gwen's just won a gold medal. She's racing the New York City Marathon next weekend. There's, somebody like Hele. She's coming back from an injury, so she's been preparing for this race, and it's been her only key race. There's just, I could name everyone and say that, I need to watch out for them.
The format on day 1 is especially challenging for these athletes.
Usually everything just sort of flows, whereas this is going to be so separate that, it's just going to be painful for like 4 hours instead of 1.
Flora Duffy and Halla Fredrickson.
It's just really, you gotta go out there and you gotta fight for every single second. But at the same time, you also need to be a little bit smart of how you're gonna use your energy.
I just want to give everything, and afterwards, if I'm completely smashed, I'll be like, okay, I give everything, so that's the best I could do.
After a grueling day for the women, favorite Gwen Jorgensen comes in third due to a 14th place performance on the bike. Flora Duffy takes second, and the top spot goes to the 26-year-old from Great Britain.
Holly Lawrence, 56:54, the cumulative time.
I didn't expect to be in the lead after the first day. I mean, I don't think it's going to last very long, but we'll see.
At the end of the Stage 1 time trials for the women, only 2 minutes and 7 seconds separate the top 10. The Island House Invitational Triathlon is presented by The Island House. Discover this side of paradise. And brought to you by our supporting sponsors, Gatorade Endurance, Different Athlete, Different Fuel, Cervelo, P5X, Personal Best. And by Bahamas Ministry of Tourism. Hashtag It's Better in the Bahamas. Produced and distributed exclusively by Jalbert Productions International, a worldwide leader in television sports production and distribution. While the weekend is mostly centered around the most elite in the sport, there is a special amateur group competing as well. They are actually professionals of a different kind, but their talents may be equally impressive.
It's great to have the fittest CEOs involved with the Island House Invitational Triathlon this year. These guys are CEOs that are very passionate about endurance sports.
3, 2, 1, go!
Competing here is epic. I think it's one of the most intense, exciting things I've ever done. Just to be in the company of Olympians like Gwen Jorgensen, Alicia Kay, Torenzo Bozzoni, and all the CEOs that I'm competing with, the energy, the intensity. I mean, I've done a lot of triathlons, but there's nothing like this one, bar none.
But with professional triathlon courses, accidents can happen, which John McGowan learns the hard way.
And we need our medical team, our doctors, to the finish line, please.
Yeah, I was coming to the end of the bike ride, and as I turned left, there's some yellow cones on the road. It was my fault, going too quick. Front wheel hit the cones and lost my traction and went down.
John's fall will cost him, but he does go on to finish the race, giving new meaning to the race's slogan, Pain in Paradise.
Pain in Paradise, yeah. Perfect description.
At the end of a demanding 2 days, Shannon Horn is in the top spot, with Brent de Jong in second and Anthony Sullivan close behind in third, with his eye on taking the lead on the final day.
I need to swim like Michael Phelps tomorrow, and I need to run like I stole something. I just got to put it all out there and give it 110% and leave it all in the Bahamas. I'm going back depleted, nothing, except maybe a click in my hand.
The final group to race on day 1 is the elite men. The focus tightens as the athletes know the field is bigger and stronger this year.
Here we are once again. Welcome everybody. Day 1, the overall men now.
I think the field's stacked top to bottom. You got Ironman champs, you got ITU champs.
Go!
We have Richard Murray returning from last year. Richard's a strong, all-around athlete.
There's 2 world champions in the men's field, from Tim Reed's side and then from Mario Muller's side, and both of them are very, very good.
Cam Dyer, Lionel Saunders, Tim Don. You know, I know he's doing a lot of long course stuff now, but I'm sure he's got a lot of fast twitch fibre still left in him.
It's going to be super tough. I think everybody's at the end of their season, everybody's tired, so it'll be a matter of, who wants it the most.
3, 2, 1, go!
The time trials prove to be a tremendous challenge, and the athletes are forced to search for their strength.
I just have to use my strength. I mean, I got to swim super hard and I got to ride as hard as I can, and we'll all lay our cards out and see what happens.
Like Tim Don said about it last year, start hard, accelerate in the middle, and finish with a sprint.
But similar to what the women have experienced, the unconventional race format inspires exceptional performances.
This format is very unique. There's a very high level of uncertainty for everybody.
Blistering bike ride, New Zealand's Torenzo Bozzoni.
A lot of fun, a lot of pain. It's a great format. I really enjoy mixing it with the short course guys.
At the end of a very hot and grueling opening day, only 15 seconds separate the top 3 elite men.
Richard Murray in third, 53.12.
I'm third now, I think, overall. I was 14th going into the start of the run, so I rolled up 11 spots on the run.
In second, Torenzo Bozzoni.
Struggled on the run, but had a solid swim and a really good bike ride. Sitting in second place, up with the top ITU guys. I'm really happy about that.
Aaron Royal, the number 1 spot.
Aaron's the guy to beat. I mean, he's in first right now. He let out the swim. He was right there on the bike, and he's winning the race.
As the Stage 1 time trials come to a close, only 47 seconds separate the top 10. But instead of resting up for day 2, the athletes dedicate the afternoon to more than sport, a cause that's helping the island get back on its feet after Hurricane Matthew.
More Than Sport is really about impacting those in need through multiple sports. The Island House and the resort here is committed to improving the community and to give back as much as they can.
We're going to be giving away 50 bikes to some underprivileged kids that they don't necessarily have access to a bike, which is something I feel like every kid should have access to.
We're getting real arrows.
They're going to build a shed, we're going to keep them there. You know, they're going to start designing a physical education program there. So it's something that's going to continue. It's not just give, walk away. You know, it's more than a donation. It's an investment into the community.
How's that? Are you comfortable?
Oh, dude, you're ready to rock and roll.
Use your muscles.
Getting them active and getting them loving exercise and being outdoors, I think that that's going to enrich their lives in so many different ways.
That's fantastic. I mean, that gives these kids a way to get around, a way to play. You know, who knows? Maybe these kids are the next generation of triathletes or cyclists.
When you give and serve, a lot of times you get more back and you receive a lot more. Our mission is to inspire and transform lives.
Everyone likes to smile and have a laugh, so yeah, it's just a great thing to be part of More Than Sport.
As day breaks on the second day of competition, the women prepare to enter Stage 2, which will be the longest and most trying, the enduro race. This year, the format has been adjusted. The athletes will swim, run, bike, then enter the water for a second swim, followed by a second run.
Last year we had a drafting portion of the race on the second day, which definitely was foreign to the long course guys, so it really catered towards the ITU style athlete. Whereas in 2016, we've taken the draft legal portion of it away and we've made a very individual based race.
I was so stoked on the changes. I'm a cyclist, so any opportunity that I can get to really maximize that advantage, I want to take it because I know the ITU girls are going to unleash on the run.
Go! Welcome to day 2 of racing. You can see him already jockeying for position right there. Lauren Brandon, one of the strongest swimmers out there. Also, Carolina Rotier of Spain. She won yesterday the fastest swim.
Over the next 2 hours, these elite women will be covering the distance of an Olympic triathlon. But this race has 5 segments instead of the standard 3.
We've got about 3 or 4 women that have been dropped in the back, but other than that, it's a big group of about 12.
There is an elimination this year, so there's double the amount of athletes. We start with 20. Makes the athletes work, you know, a little bit harder and try to get into those final spots.
It is Carolina Rotier, Sarah True, Holly Lawrence, Flora Duffy, Gwen Jorgensen. The whole gang is here. They're gonna pull the swim caps off, drop the goggles, and put on their running shoes. They're going out for 5K of running. Shoes are on and on.
Gwen Jorgensen is the defending Island House champion and is in 5th place as the athletes begin their 2 laps to the end of the road and back. But running is her strength, and she quickly powers to the front. This summer, Jorgensen became the first American to win an Olympic gold medal in triathlon.
I've had a pretty awesome year, and I think in order to do well here, I have to really be strong in all the disciplines. You know, some people have asked me, like, what's your strategy? Are you gonna maybe hold back on the run so you have a little more for the bike? But for me, I just have to swim as hard as I can, bike as hard as I can, and run as hard as I can, and just give it everything from the start.
In the second lap, Gwen is relentless in her run and adds to her lead. Some of the long-distance specialists have fallen behind. Lisa Norden finished second last year. But today, she's struggling as she battles a heel injury.
Gwen Jorgensen, one of the best pure runners in the sport. They're starting to make the turn now, but she's got a good gap. She is already out onto the ride. Sarah True, USA. Emma Moffat, Australia, coming in. Here comes the chase. Holly Lawrence, Flora Duffy.
The bike segment is 40 kilometers, which is divided on course into 6 laps. Holly Lawrence begins in 9th position. She finished 2nd in yesterday's bike time trial and quickly picks off one rider after another. 2016 has been the best year of her career, having captured 4 wins.
I've never raced the Island House race before, so I suppose you don't know what to worry about, so can't worry. I've not got a race plan, it's just go as hard as I can and try and make it in for the last day.
By the 6th lap, Holly has taken a commanding lead.
Holly Lawrence making a push on the bike. 2016 Ironman 70.3 world champion. 40-second lead on Ellie Salthouse of Australia, Halla Fredriksson of Denmark, Flora Duffy of Bermuda, and then Gwen Jorgensen of the USA.
Further back, the rest of the athletes are fighting to remain in contention.
Great Britain's Holly Lawrence into transition. Get the watchers going here. I believe she's got a fairly sizable gap, close to a minute perhaps, and there she goes. 750-meter swim course, and then a final 5K to run to the finish. She's got to get moving in the water. There she goes, goggles are on and she's in.
The Island House Triathlon Enduro race continues as the leading women dive into the water for the 2nd swim leg of the competition. The rest of the field arrives in hot pursuit.
Holly Lawrence is the woman to catch going into the day. She's the overall leader by just 36 seconds.
20 women started today, but only 10 will advance into tomorrow's finale and be eligible to take home a portion of the prize money.
And here comes Holly. Now she knows she's got these 4 women chasing right behind. 35 seconds the gap to Holly Lawrence. Gwen Jorgensen is up and out. Ellie Salthouse having a great race. Halla Fredriksson, Denmark. Flora Duffy taking a quick look back. 5K to go, 5K to go. Gwen Jorgensen already with the shoes on and out. Very quick transition.
The road ahead consists of 2 loops of 2.5 kilometers. The last wave of women push through the suffering as they join the chase. Quickly, Gwen Jorgensen reels in Holly Lawrence and takes over the lead.
Racing isn't easy. It's painful, it's hard. When I'm competing at my best, I find that I'm often in the moment. I'm never thinking ahead, I'm never thinking behind, thinking about relaxed shoulders or letting my arms come through, just technique-based things.
Gwen Jorgensen taking command on the run. Looks like Flora Duffy now. Flora Duffy, Holly Lawrence, Ellie Salthouse.
In the 2nd loop, Ellie tracks down Holly to move into 3rd position.
Coming down to the end of this 5K run to see who makes the cut to the key. Gwen Jorgensen taking the win today, and now the clock is ticking. And here comes Flora. Ellie with a great run. Oh, Holly Lawrence. You can see the exhaustion. Congratulations to our women, our elite women. Quick and fast, but a tough day of racing.
The final racers cross the finish line, and the stage is set for tomorrow. 10 women will be moving on for the final day of Pain in Paradise.
I was really, really happy with my bike. Flora still put a bunch of time into me, as did a bunch of other athletes, but I was able to hold my own a little bit better.
It's just hard. I've never done anything like this before. Getting back into the swim for the 2nd time, my legs were cramping and it was just a struggle. My aim was just to make the final 10, so anything now is a bonus, but yeah, I'll just be giving it as good as I get.
It was tough, really tough. The 2nd swim and the 2nd run were probably the hardest 2 disciplines. I'm glad we don't do that in actual triathlon. My goal is to just do my best tomorrow. I have no expectations, so we'll see how it goes.
Now, it's the men's chance for distinction.
Only 22 seconds separate the top 5 men as we start the day 2 of Racing Island House International here in the Bahamas. Go!
As with the women, only the top 10 men will advance to tomorrow's grand finale.
There they go. 19 men in the water.
Aaron Royal of Australia is competing for the first time at Island House. He's the leader after the time trials and specializes in the shorter distance ITU triathlons. He was an under-23 world champion and finished 9th at this year's Olympic Games.
The competitors are different. A lot of them I haven't actually raced before. All those long course sort of legends, I don't know how I'm going to go against those guys. I don't know how I'm going to go in this format. So that's the exciting thing about it as well, I think.
Yesterday, Aaron was the fastest swimmer, and today, he again takes charge in the water.
And it is our current race leader, Aaron Royal of Australia, leading the man out of the water. Joe Malloy, Cam Dye, Richard Murray, Eric Lackstrom, Terenzo Bozzoni, they're all here.
Aaron heads into the first run with a fragile lead over the rest of the field. A minute into the first lap, he gets overtaken by Richard Murray. Richard was the fastest runner in yesterday's time trial. This year, he was the world champion in ITU duathlon and finished 4th in triathlon at the Summer Olympics.
It's been a super long year, the Olympic Games this season and the grand final of the World Triathlon Series, and so having to bring out the last month of training has been tough, but it's been good, and just need to think on what I'm doing currently and trying to do it obviously the best that I can.
Midway through the run, Murray has increased his advantage. Mario Mola, the 2016 ITU World Triathlon Series champion, is now in second, followed by Joe Malloy and Aaron Royal. They are pursued by a group led by Brent McMahon and Cam Dye.
After the swim and now the run, it's going to be on to 40 kilometers of cycling here. Here comes our leader in the men's race so far, Richard Murray. He was 2nd overall last year here. Mario Mola, Spain. Joe Malloy, USA. Aaron Royal, getting ready for the bike ride.
The other racers transition onto their bikes, 1 minute behind the leader. But with an hour and a half of racing left to go, anything can happen. At the Island House Triathlon, the technicians from Cervelo Cycles are here to provide support and maintenance in the bike portions of the competition.
This is our 2nd year with the Island House Triathlon, and we couldn't be more proud and super excited to be part of it again, and hopefully we get to continue that partnership for many years to come. It's a great opportunity for us to bring our fleet of P5Xs, which we just launched 3 weeks ago. For this bike, we really want to focus on triathlon and triathletes only. We wanted to integrate storage and hydration and then shape the bike around that. They're built for the long haul. They're built specifically for that time trial position that you're going to be in, so you can stay in that position throughout the whole event, and ultimately that's going to make you a lot faster.
Early in the 40-kilometer bike segment of the men's enduro challenge, Richard Murray holds the lead. He's trailed by Mario Mola, Joe Malloy, Aaron Royal, and Cam Dye. Dye is a 2-time triathlete of the year and has continued his winning ways this season.
You're looking at 50-some minutes of just flat-out riding, which is the style of racing I do most of the year. The majority of the races I've won have been on the bike, so that ability to time trial and to get out there and just crank by myself, I think, could be a big advantage over some of the ITU guys that aren't necessarily used to that bike or that format of racing.
By the 5th lap, Cam Dye has moved into 2nd place.
Richard Murray still in the lead, 2nd overall here last year at Island House Triathlon, but Cam Dye is reeling them in quickly. 4th overall here last year, crushing it on the bike.
It's about to go down.
With 5 kilometers to go, Cam Dye overtakes Richard Murray and forges ahead. Meanwhile, back in the pack, other racers are making their move.
Timmy Reed's still up there. Sebastian Kienle cruising through the field too. Brent McMahon. Terenzo's having a good ride. Lionel Sanders of Canada was way back, starting in 15th or so position. And he is picking them off just really quickly, probably having the fastest bike ride. And here they come now. Cam Dye of the USA with a little edge. Quick transition and heading into the water, and Cam can swim as well. Richard Murray, here we go.
Come on, babe, 40 seconds, 40 seconds.
Terenzo Bolzoni, New Zealand. Oh yeah, Lionel Sanders of Canada making up 10 or 12 places. Here's Aaron Royal, Australia. Joe Malloy, USA. And here comes the chase. There they go, big group into the water.
An hour and a half into the race, the competitors return to the water for another half mile of swimming.
Trying to swim directly after a 40K, it's gonna show some weaknesses and some strengths, and you're gonna see the field split a little bit in the water.
A lot of guys haven't gone from a bike straight into a swim probably ever. Legs are going to be very heavy in the swim. Could rain, you know, you don't even know what could happen.
Torrential rain falls as Cam and Richard hit the beach for the start of the final run.
750 meters in the water, a shower, tough stuff.
Honestly, I think it's just part of the game. You know, we race 365 days a year all over the world in all different kinds of climates and terrain. And I think rain and wind, and that's just the stuff you sort of come to expect.
Currently, Terenzo Bolzoni is third, Aaron Royal is fourth, and Eric Lagerstrom is fifth. Joe Malloy, Brent McMahon, Leon Griffin, Tim Reed, and Sebastian Kienle round out the top 10. Lionel Sanders fights through the pain as he exits the ocean. Mario Mola is taken down by muscle cramps. Midway through the first lap, Richard Murray has overtaken Cam Dye. The downpour has subsided, but half of the field will be eliminated from the event after the run, so the painful journey continues. Tim Don finished third last year. He is currently in 11th place and in a battle to make the cut.
You reach that level of, say, 180 heart rate, your legs are hurting, and the shorter race is like an ice picks to the leg. It is sharp, it is painful. You've just got to really focus and push through it.
Two things I like to draw on are the training I've put in. You know I've put in the work, and I know I have the ability to do whatever I'm asking my body to do. And then the other one is my wife and kids. Racing supports them. That means a lot. It gets you through the race.
I know there'll always be a moment where I feel like I'm getting tired or there's some pain involved there, but then I realize that moment will pass pretty soon. A lot of the time I just focus in on technique, so I think it's all the mindset and being in control of what you're doing. Hopefully, the results come after that.
Richard Murray finishes first. He is followed by Cam Dye, Terenzo Bolzoni, and the remainder of the world-class field.
Some rather exhausted expressions coming across the line here today. Tough day, tough day. Congratulations, guys. And tomorrow, looking forward to more excitement and our final day of racing.
The top 10 men are moving on to stage 3.
It was a really tough race. Just gonna focus on recovering as quick as I can, and tomorrow it's just gonna be emptying the tank. Whatever's left inside there, just put it on the line.
The pain that we had coming out the swim, trying to actually run again, it's almost like we just went from being 0 to 0 within like 2 steps. Looking forward to going back to Highbourne. It's one of the most amazing places in the world to go to, and hopefully the sun's shining there.
The athletes board their 30-minute charter ride to this secluded paradise. Highbourne Cay is a 3-mile-long, 500-acre island at the top of the Exuma chain of the Bahamas. Tomorrow, it will provide a formidable challenge to the finalists in the Island House Triathlon. as they compete on the final day in the sprint competition.
Here we go, 10 of the fittest women in the world taking on our third day of racing at Island House Invitational Triathlon.
I'm feeling as expected, pretty beat up. Things that aren't usually sore are very sore. I think everyone's pretty tired though, so that might take the edge off the race, but everyone's competing for a lot of money, so I think everyone's gonna dig super deep. Second largest prize purse in the sport of triathlon. First place woman will take home $60,000.
They are competing on the beautiful Highbourne Cay. The final day's sprint will be a treacherous 750-meter swim, a 20-kilometer bike, and a 5K run.
You're confident, you know you've done the training, so you're just here ready to make it happen, you know? On the start line, ready to go.
It's going to be an exciting race, and I think everyone will bring their A game.
Gwen enters the water first with a 40-second head start, hoping to take advantage of her situation.
After 3 days of racing, you have no idea how your body feels. You know, you're warming up and you can barely move.
Holly Lawrence enters the water next, followed by Flora Duffy. If they have any hope in defeating Gwen, they'll need to make up ground before getting to the run.
Holly Lawrence doing a good job of catching up quickly. Right behind Holly was Flora Duffy.
The remainder of the women enter the water, all in pursuit of the leader, who at this point is still Gwen, but her lead is diminishing.
That 45-second lead she had starting the swim today got gobbled up pretty quickly. The top 3 women are separated by just under a minute.
As the swim portion of the race winds down, the top 3 transition to the bike. Flora is currently in third, but this is where she excels. And as they start this 20K leg, she has her sights on taking the lead and adding another win to her successful resume.
You know, I was at the Rio Olympics and then obviously racing on the World Triathlon Series circuit, which I ended up winning. My confidence is high, but at the same time, it's been a big year, big pressure, big emotional ups and downs. When you're in that state, when everything's going well, I think you're not overthinking anything. You kind of just know what you have to do and your body just takes over. And for me, it's just sort of just happens.
Right now, the clock is ticking and Flora has made a push. Here we go, Flora Duffy, and she wants to have a lead over Gwen Jorgensen and Holly Lawrence, and it looks like she does right now.
I had a little bit of a lesson from Flora on the technical parts of the course. Her mountain biking just shows that, you know, she can just really ride the technical courses.
Flora Duffy, bright green helmet.
Flora officially has the lead, but her competition isn't far behind.
Here comes Holly Lawrence, and Flora's going to be able to see the deficit now. And we're going to need to be seeing Gwen Jorgensen soon if she wants to have a hope of catching Flora Duffy. And there she is from the USA. Absolutely no time for mistakes here in this transition, and heading out, quick transition there, and there goes Gwen. And she is going to use her running ability to catch these 2 women ahead of her. Can she pull it off?
While the top 3 push on to the run, the rest of the pack finish the bike leg.
Rachel Klammer of the Netherlands coming in with Hella Fredriksson of Denmark.
I try to focus on one thing at a time, and I feel that when I'm racing really hard, if I can focus on something that's technique related, I can kind of get that pain away and not think too much about that I'm actually suffering like crazy.
These 2 women can run, and they could easily work their way into 4th or 5th position right now.
Flora still has hold of the lead, but Gwen starts to make her move, passing Holly and fighting to catch up to Flora.
Don't know if Holly Lawrence or Flora Duffy are going to be able to stick with Gwen Jorgensen when it comes down to the run. Gwen showed her running form yesterday, but after 2 days of racing, it is anybody's guess.
Nice job.
Do what you do best, Gwen.
I never know how fast I can go. You know, each race is completely different, and racing against people like Flora earlier this year beat me in the World Championship. She outran me, she outswam me, she outbiked me. So, you know, there's athletes that I know I have to give it my all, and I have to be trained, and I have to be fit, and I have to be ready to go.
The 2 women approach the final stretch of the run. It will be the toughest part of the day thus far. And as they turn onto the beach, it's anyone's race.
Who's it going to be? Is it going to be Gwen Jorgensen with the powerful run from the USA? Can Flora Duffy of Bermuda hold off Gwen?
They take turns in the lead, stumbling over sand and rock as spectators wait at the finish line to see who will be victorious.
And it is Gwen. Gwen Jorgensen's gonna take it from the USA 2 years in a row with her strength on the run. Gwen Jorgensen, USA.
She's just a world-class woman as well as a world-class athlete. She obviously came here in great shape and serious about this race. She did a phenomenal job.
Flora Duffy right behind with an amazing race. She's gonna take home $45,000. Third place overall, Holly Lawrence.
Coming into the event, my aim was just to make the top 10. And then when I did that, anything was a bonus. It's just been such a different race, and yeah, it's been amazing.
The remainder of the top 10 women crossed the finish line, each accomplishing a tremendous feat over the 3 days. And as they celebrate the end of their amazing weekend, the CEOs are busy in their final race. At the end of a 500-meter swim and a 4K run, Anthony Sullivan emerges in third, Brent DeJorn in second, and Shannon Horn on top.
Finish CEO right here. Too fast, too fast.
It's a lot of discipline to run 3 days in a row. You're redlining. Then just to be out here in the atmosphere with the pros, I mean, it just takes it to a whole new level.
It hurt. It was pain in paradise, but it was worth it. Probably one of the best weekends of my whole life, if not the best.
It's late morning of the third day of competition, and it's time for the men to brave the treacherous Highbourne Cay course.
The sun has come out. It is heating up now at Highbourne Cay in the Bahamas. Coming up, 750 meters swimming, 20K bike, 5K run, just like the women.
The course is quite technical, with a few little rises on the bike and some sand running on the run.
Who's it going to be after 3 days of racing? Our third day, the Island House Invitational Triathlon.
It's right at that far edge of possibility. How well can you go, and how well can you do it for 3 days in a row? So I think I'm going to have to stay in contention and then have a little bit of luck.
Going into the men's race, South Africa's Richard Murray in the lead spot, the highest ranking after 2 days of racing.
It's going to be quite an interesting one to look at on the third day, how much lactic is built up, and how guys recovered and how guys, look after themselves after the first 2 days.
Richard Murray is first into the water. With his lead in the competition, he's been given a sizable head start on Cam Dye.
Richard Murray leading America's Cam Dye by 1:05. And right behind Cam Dye from New Zealand is Terenzo Bozzoni at about 13 seconds back.
After Terenzo Bozzoni, Aaron Royal enters the water, followed by Brent McMahon, Eric Lagerstrom, and the remainder of the top 10, all of whom are in pursuit of the leader.
Here we go, Richard Murray. He is making a statement.
But although Richard exits the water first, his lead is dwindling.
Oh yeah, Cam Dye. No room for errors today. Quick transition for Cam Dye, and he's on the chase. And here comes Terenzo Bozzoni, just seconds behind Cam Dye. Aaron Royal, he is in fourth position right now.
As the remaining men finish their swim, Richard Murray is well on his way on the bike. But the lead is not a comfortable one, with Cam Dye approaching fast.
I thought, I'd be able to hold Cameron maybe on the bike with the minutes, but that didn't happen. Halfway through the second lap, I realized, oh man, he's shut the minute down already.
So Cam Dye using his strength on the bike as he did yesterday, and after the second loop, he had put a little bit of time on Richard Murray.
As Cam tries to increase his lead, the rest of the field is also fighting to catch up to the leaders, including Aaron Royal, who's gaining on Terenzo Bozzoni, still currently in third. As they all push on, the leaders are nearing the final leg of the race.
Here we go, we're expecting to see, yes it is, it's Cam Dye from the USA. He's gonna try to put as much time on Richard Murray from South Africa as possible. Here comes Richard. Now Cam Dye's gonna know that Richard Murray is gonna be chomping at his heels very quickly.
I really had to put it, I had to really get another gear in there and try and, limit the deficit. I thought, 20, 30 seconds, I'm going to have to really run my heart out.
Richard Murray already sprinting out of transition in chase of American Cam Dye.
Terenzo Bozzoni soon appears, still in third, but now by a very narrow margin.
Terenzo Bozzoni started the day in third overall, and he's got some people chasing him pretty quickly. Australia's Aaron Royal right now.
Terenzo begins his run quickly, but so does Aaron. This is the 26-year-old's first time at the Island House Invitational. And on his final push, he'd like nothing more than to get himself into the top 3.
I was actually meant to race this time last year, but a week out I tore my calf and unfortunately couldn't race. To be here, to get the invite again to do it was quite lucky and quite excited to get the chance to come back and give it a shot.
And now, with such little time left, the two men run through the pain and exhaustion.
Can Terenzo hold off Australia's Aaron Royal to take the third and final podium spot?
I caught him at about halfway on the run, and then I ran with him for a K and a half, and then with a K to go, I just gave it absolutely everything I got. And if you got any footage of that, I'm not sure, but it would not have looked pretty, but I was just moving my arms and legs as quick as I could.
As Aaron pulls away from Terenzo, Cam and Richard are in their own fight to the finish.
I noticed pretty quickly that I could catch him. So now I was ready, cautious, and, I reeled him in slowly.
Richard Murray takes the lead. And into the final section of the run, never looks back. The victory will be his.
Here we go. He's taking the top honors right now from South Africa. Kiss his bike. Baby, I love you. Taking home $60,000 US, Richard Murray. Cam Dye of the USA charging it into the finish line. He's gonna take home $45,000 for an incredible performance.
It's a sweet payday for me. Move up a couple spots from last year, which is always the goal. So, yeah, it was a great weekend. I'm super happy with it.
And here we go, Aaron Royal. He's taking a quick glance over his shoulder. He's got it solid for third place from Australia, Aaron Royal. Terenzo Bozzoni right behind from New Zealand.
Talk about some pain. Terenzo pushed me all the way right to the very, very end. And that's not what you want after 3 days of racing. Made it interesting, I guess, for people watching, but God, it was hard for us.
And after the remaining men cross the finish line, it is finally time for all to celebrate.
Look out, here comes the champagne.
It's been a big 3 days, but I could not have asked for a better finale. Everyone just really enjoyed the experience, and to see that camaraderie at the finish line, this one's special.
Big thanks to all of you for being out here and participating in the second year, the Island House Invitational Triathlon.
We have the best triathletes from different disciplines all over the world. You could just look around. All these athletes are smiling. They've had a great time. So it's worked out very well. Very happy.
Congratulations, everybody. We'll see you next year.
The Island House Invitational Triathlon is presented by The Island House. Discover this side of paradise. And brought to you by our supporting sponsors, Gatorade Endurance, Different Athlete, Different Fuel, Cervelo, P5X, Personal Best. And by Bahamas Ministry of Tourism. # It's Better in the Bahamas. Produced and distributed exclusively by Jalbert Productions International, a worldwide leader in television sports production and distribution.